Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. But first, we're going to pull a card, the Six of Discs, wonderful, to kind of usher in the energy of the reading, kind of lend our ear to the sky and see what Spirit has to say. So we have this energy of, as you can see down here, it says success. We have an energy of success. Things coming into, well, not yet their completeness. It might not be finished, but we have reached a place where we can say, yes, this is working. This is working. Now, if this is like your whole life, top to bottom, you're coming to a place where you've reached a huge goal, you can look around and say, man, I built this life and here I am on top of the mountain succeeding. Or maybe, and more likely, this might be a smaller win, right? Like something that you have been working hard on, maybe even since the beginning of the year, right? Maybe you're doing your resolution. Maybe, sometimes success is just getting through the day. The world that we live in right now, the world we've supposedly always lived in, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a simulation person or a multiverse or whatever, probably infinitely all the things kind of person, but it feels like we've slipped into another place. I don't know about you, but everything feels very different in the last, well, I mean, it's been a while, but in the last, I don't know, like year, especially in the last 6 months, I don't know what's going on. I feel so different about life. I feel different about life. I feel different about I don't even know just how I feel in the, like being an entity in this world, supposedly, right? I don't know. If you've been having a weird time and you want to share, put it in the comments. Because I'm so immersed in this feeling of like things getting absurd and even more absurd, sometimes very alarming, sometimes, I kind of smile. I think, yeah, like reality is resorting itself. It's a good thing, maybe. We're going through some really difficult, like the birthing pains of the new era. But I'm interested in how other people are experiencing it. So if you want to share, definitely put that in the comments. Now, I also want to say I love you. Thank you for being here. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you, and we will begin. So we have two people right here. We have a heart right here. So this is talk of love, okay? This is a strong union. This is two people who I feel like honestly have worked really hard together as a team to get where they are. You know what I mean? Like this is like people that, I don't know, maybe they met when they were younger, maybe just like both were getting divorced or something, and maybe in a kind of tough spot, trying to figure life out, found each other and have been doing it together since whenever, right? Years ago. It feels like years together. Like this is a strong bond. Now, over here, we have another person holding a heart. They are outside of this, union. Okay, so it feels to me that there has been, I don't know, maybe a Capricorn, maybe a sense of feeling somebody, but not knowing for sure, right? Feeling that something maybe is going on. I don't think that this is your relationship though. I'm like, are you going through like a possible like infidelity or, and it doesn't, listen, it doesn't have to be that this is a love thing, like where they've met somebody, they're, you know, they have a friendship or, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could even be that this is like a mentor, somebody that they have met, and there's like a sense of a bond being formed there. Now, I don't think that this relationship is going to be broken apart, but I think that this is like kind of a very trying time because the dynamic has changed. You know, there's no way around that when you bring somebody close in and you're in like a unified relationship, and then you have like a new really close friend, or, you know, maybe like you haven't been super close with a friend for a long time, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're back to like seeing each other a lot, talking all the time. That changes the dynamic of a relationship. You can't tell me it doesn't. Right? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have friends or be close to other people, but when it does shift, it shifts. I mean, it's going to affect everything. So I feel like to me, it feels almost like you're a witness to this, because I'm seeing these eyes over here. I almost wonder if this is like your parents. I mean, I hate to say that, like that anybody would be in a situation where you're like, are my parents like cheating on each other? You know what I mean? From the outside, you're like, what's going on here? You know? But what I do feel like is that it's not about cheating, but it is about these people changing. And I don't know if they're going to decide to stay together. It almost kind of feels like this is like an opportunity to decide, like, I'm going to live another life now. I'm going to try living in a different way. I'm going to do something different. But I have to say, it doesn't feel sad. Like, it's not like, I'm not envisioning like a couple that's like been super happy and like everything seems great, and like, you know, you've been in the home, so you know that like everything privately is also pretty decent, as decent as it can be, right, when you're married and living together, and all the things, right? But I think that this is something that it's kind of almost like, I'm amazed that they've stayed together through so much. They're kind of like that ride forever, even if things aren't good. But I do feel there's a shift. And honestly, let me just say, there's anxiety around it, but it feels like a good thing. We have a butterfly right above what looks to me like a volcano right here, and then the butterfly. Okay, so to me, what that says is that where things have been volatile, there has been evolution. Right? There has been self-evolution, metamorphosis, turning into that higher thing. So this leads me to believe that they will end up really growing as people, individually, but also together. Okay? So, I don't know. Usually our readings don't start with other people's business, but I guess today we're being messy. So, it feels like a messy day. Oh, can I tell you, it is so cold here. It's supposed to be like 40 something below tonight. That means negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in the United States. We use, you know. So I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's cold. It's cold. I can feel it in my bones. Like, I'm in thank the divine. I appreciate it. I'm in a warm room in a warm home. I do keep the house kind of cool, but I mean, it's warm by anybody's, measurement. And I still can feel the wind. It's like there's a never-ending draft when it's this cold. I don't know what it is. It just gets through everything. I don't know. There's probably some science to it. But anyways, yeah, I'm feeling we are in the shining months of the year, right? Have you seen The Shining? It feels very like, whoo, we're getting into cabin fever, baby. And on top of that, the world's just been weird and kind of scary lately. So anyways, all of this is to be said. I hope that you're doing well. Even, you might be in the southern hemisphere and it's like warm. You're like in paradise. Everything's beautiful. I won't even begin to look at your news because I am so cold right now. You probably all are having pretty nice weather. But, I don't know where it's going with that. I'm veered off. Sorry for my ramble in the middle. Listen, I feel like I haven't been talking to people lately. I just haven't. I've been feeling very quiet. Now, we have the word key, K-E-Y, okay? And I want to see, what are we doing with this key? But yeah, I just feel it's been hard for me to even do a lot of readings. Some private readings are a little bit easier, I feel like, because I feel very connected to one energy. But man, I just worry, like I start doing the readings and I want to be open, honest about what I'm feeling and seeing. I also want to take care with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, who needs more stress in their life? I just want everything to be puppies and rainbows and all of that. And unfortunately, that's just not the reality. Okay, so we have this beautiful flower. It reminds me of something like, I don't know, like a, some like tropical, beautiful flower pinned to a lapel or like on a corsage for the dance. Now we have a person here. You can see here's the head. Here would be their top, and then kind of like in a kneeling position, putting the hand out, holding something out to what looks like a child. Here's the head, here's the body, hands behind back, looking at the thing that they're handing. Now, we have the flower below, and over here we have a bird flying, okay? We have a bird flying. Right here it looks like a duck or a goose. Okay, the head's here. Here is the long neck. Now, we also have, again, a person. Here's the head, wearing something that looks like maybe a robe or, a dress or something like this, hand raised, and holding this out to, it looks like a face. Here are the eyes, the nose. It looks like it has like a mustache almost. And then kind of, I don't know, wild hair. Kind of wild hair. So to me, I have this feeling of somebody who you were very close to, a mother figure, a big sister, somebody who really felt like an authority, but not in a way that was rigid. It feels like you trusted their opinion. You trusted what they said. When they said something, you took it as fact, And so I feel that over time, as, time passes, we grow and we move and we go here and there and everywhere. I feel that you've moved back and forth. Maybe not sure where you want to be or where you want to stay, where you want to live, near your family, not near your family, get a job on the other side of the country, come back, decide to, buy a little house in your hometown, then you don't necessarily like it, you move 2 states over, just kind of like figuring it out. And you've been doing this throughout your life, okay? Not because you're restless, just because I think that you like to be somewhere, you like to have a goal, you like to see that goal through, you like to kind of almost feel like, okay, now I can put a little bow on this, I've completed my mission here, and now it's on to the next thing. I need to go somewhere else and find some different inspiration. So I do feel like you have moved around, a fair amount as an adult. Now, I feel that there is somebody in your life who maybe was rather silly, maybe somewhat eccentric, somebody that maybe at times embarrassed you, but I feel like having somebody like this close to you really helped allow you to be who you are, right? Just not worry about what people think. You just do things the way that you like. Like, you weren't somebody who was going out and buying all the clothes that everybody else had. You were doing your own thing because you liked how something felt, or maybe you were into like bands or something. You liked the band, you wore that shirt. You don't care if anybody else liked the band or not. You're just kind of on your own wave. And I think a lot of this has to do with this family member here. Now, I also feel that you have a strong sense of duty to your family, okay? I feel that especially with the stuff that we saw in the beginning. Let's see. We have E repeated. And it looks like it says get, G-E-T. Get key. We have a person, look at this person here, the little hat and this big fish. I keep seeing P and E. A lot of P, E, E, E. This one almost looks like it's maybe ear, E-A-R. Maybe something with the ear happening. But the person with the big fish. Okay. So I almost wonder, and this actually kind of adds a dynamic here that I was not seeing before. I almost wonder if you are the one in the family. This one looks like it says peas. P-E-A-S. Peas. If you're the one in the family who ended up making the most money, let's just be real. I feel like this is also really informed like your not only ability to kind of move around because you've maybe like aligned that with work or opportunity, or maybe you trust in the universe it will provide, and guess what, it does, right? And so I feel like that's a dynamic that almost makes you feel guilty. I think it also almost feels like you worry that there's a resentment there, but I think that that's more in your head than anything. I don't think that there's resentment from people in your family. I do think that people in your family have probably wanted things from you, right? And you couldn't always do that for them. And there might have been, a little bit of weird energy there. But I think for the most part, it's kind of like a thing that is more on your mind than anybody else's. And I think part of it is, learning to move past these perceived kind of weird feelings, or you know, I don't know. I do this too, right? Where we make something really big in our head where it's like, oh, they really don't like me now because I whatever, or you know, they're gonna like see what I have or don't have, and they're gonna think I'm, you know, some either like a loser who's making nothing, or you know, maybe they're gonna think I sold out and now I'm, you know, just some like cornball bourgeois, you know, whatever, and you just can't win. And really, the reality is most people don't care. They just don't care. You know, they love you. They maybe want the best for you. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't even think about you, you know, and that's just the reality of things. People think about us a lot less than we realize. I would say the majority of people do. Anyways, there are some of us out here that are the, you know, overthinkers. And if there's a problem, you know I'm going to ruminate about it. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody's like that. So it's the, you know, there's a little bit of freedom. And I say that, like, you know, I'll say that to my daughter and my husband, who, you know, over at Dove and Serpentare. I'll say, you know what, honey, the thing about life is most people aren't even thinking about each other at all. You know, they just aren't thinking about you. And I see how that sounds. But what I'm trying to say is, there's freedom in knowing that most people are so wrapped up in their own universes that they barely perceive you. So go on in your stealth, unbothered, mostly unwitnessed. Do your thing. Live your life like nobody's watching. Just live it. Do all the stuff. You know, fail. Make a fool of yourself. You know, overreact, underreact, try it all. I mean, with, you know, be careful. Don't do anything that, you know, within reason. Okay, this is what I'm saying. But try all the things, you know. People do not really care what each other's doing unless it makes something about their life like it's an inconvenience, right? Then they start caring. So avoid inconveniencing people and do what you will. Do what thou will. Okay. We have the Star of David up there, which is the triangle upon the triangle, a unification. We have a bird, so a message coming, and this little flower. It's beautiful. It reminds me of like a cherry blossom or something. And we have the letter R. We also have a wishbone. So a wish will be granted. Okay, so it feels to me like we are coming into a place where things are really starting to make sense. Like the universe is really starting to open up and show you, you know, and you might be looking at it and saying, why am I thinking about this? Why do I feel, you know, all of a sudden you're starting to feel these like heavy emotions about things that usually you just wouldn't even like whatever. And you're seeing the signs, the repeating numbers, the words, the melodies, right? There's a feeling of like when a plant starts to grow through the snow, and you know, like, well, if you're from a cold area, you know, that's like sometimes if we get like a little bit of a warm day and a little bit of sun, the plants are like, hey, what's up? And then immediately, you know, freeze or whatever. But when you get to the end of winter, when you're finally, the ground has thawed out a couple times and refroze and thawed out, and we're starting to have warmer days, and then you see that first tulip bloom. That first cherry blossom. And you look at it and you think, all right, I made it. I made it. And here we are. This little burst of life. This thing, this beautiful thing that against all odds made it through that dark night, those cold, cold nights. And here it is. Complete and perfect. As everything is. Everything is perfect. Everything is as it should be. Everything is everything. Right? And so we also have a message. I feel that there is a distinct message, revelation, something. It is your key. You need to be looking for it, but not too close. Here's the thing about synchronicity, about the universe courting us through, I always like to think of it as like free association, right? Like I like do some kind of whatever, I'm real synced with a certain number, or I'm wearing a certain color to magnify an energy or something like this. And then the universe comes back at me with some kind of affiliation that brings me further into the web, right? And so I feel like you're in a place where you are very aware that this is happening. You're seeing it. You are experiencing these little beauties. Now, I have to believe that flowers are going to be a big one for you. I keep feeling tons of different flowers. And there's a lot of meaning in them. So I'm like wondering if you're a person that maybe you understand the symbology of flowers and their arrangements or something like this, or you have like a significant, even like a flower tattoo that's very meaningful to you. But these synchronicities are going to be coming through very, very clearly. Like you're going to keep seeing it until you're like, oh yeah, okay. So that's a fun thing. I think that's a fun thing. I'm always excited when I start to get into that synchronicity, like it's just flowing. And yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if this is synchronicity or am I getting manic? Who knows? Maybe both, right? All right. So anyways, Capricorn, I love you so much. Oh, we got to do our numbers. Let's give you some numbers. Lucky numbers. I always roll this die so I can get some lucky numbers. 56. Number 56. Number 45. Number 80. Wonderful. All right, Capricorn. Thank you for being here. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. This world is, it's a beautiful, wonderful place full of potential. Potential in all directions. Let's just be that way. Let's say it that way. There's potential for anything in all directions. So be mindful. Watch out for one another. I think that this is a time where we must be soft. We must be softly brutal and brutally soft, in ways. And then in other ways, yeah, we do. We have to be stronger and stronger yet. And I don't like saying that to anybody, but that is the place we're at. We're in the era of saving self, coming to the realization that I'm not sure that anybody can save any of us. I don't know. So we better start learning how to save ourselves. Anyhow, Capricorn, I love you. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.